He's like, oh, well, I'm an honest man, and people like me, and I'm here to be the SmackDown general manager. And he's like, no, I think I'm going to run SmackDown. Then all of a sudden, he walks over to the Raw podium. He's like, that's fine. You run SmackDown, I'll run Raw.
We already know that it's going to either be Shane or Stephanie, and it makes sense because Shane doesn't show up on every show anyway, and neither does Stephanie, so to put them on one show each makes the perfect amount of sense.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will get into the WWE Draft. We'll get into what Keith Logan mentioned about the possible return of some superstars. We'll also want to talk about what is the best option for Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns going forward for their storyline. So you're listening to Ringside Rumble Radio here on Spreaker.com, free on iTunes, and now on iHeartRadio.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying is not kids being kids.
It's not about good homes or bad homes.
It's not a normal part of growing up. I shouldn't be afraid to get on the school bus.
To turn on my computer.
Message. Or walk to my locker. Did you know that a bully will stop his or her behavior in 10 seconds when their peers speak up?
Use your voice.
Hey, leave him alone.
We have the power to stop bullying.
Find out more at bullying.org.
Bullying.org.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Ringside Rumble Radio here on Spreaker.com, free on iTunes, and now on iHeartRadio. This is Keith the Loganator, alongside Anthony the Ant-Man Rivera. Remember to follow us on Facebook. Now you can find us by just typing in and Ringside Rumble Radio, correct?
That is correct.
It finally changed?
Yeah, it finally changed. Ringside Rumble
Radio.
Facebook.com. Facebook.com/Ringside Rumble Radio. They finally changed it for us. And you can even search for it, like, if you want to just search for it, you can search for it like you're doing a Twitter, at Ringside Rumble. If you look under our page, you see the Ringside Rumble Radio, and then it says at Ringside Rumble. So I kind of like that little idea, too. So search either way. And also, we're on Twitter, at Ringside Rumble.
Yes.
So follow us, like us, all the above.
You had a rough night yesterday here. You said you hit the snooze about 8 or 9 times this
Oh,
morning?
yes. It was a rough night home from work.
Okay. All right. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to
yes.
see you. It's been a long week.
It's been a long week.
Great wrestling. The draft.
That might be the biggest news coming out of this week.
I think that's huge news. I mean, now that SmackDown will be live on Tuesday nights. I think, what were they? They were like live maybe like once or twice on a Thursday night back when they had the UPN 9 when they were on them.
And for anyone questioning that this would be a draft, there's your answer.
There is a
getting a draft. But more importantly, coming out of the draft is it won't be on Monday Night Raw. It's going to be on SmackDown that Tuesday, July 19th.
Which is good because they want to build up SmackDown even more and get the ratings up. I know they were talking about that on USA, the network. And if you're a WWE stockholder, you probably have heard the news about that as well for revenue and business. So it's good for WWE. Plus, it's great for the fans. It gives them actually live TV, which Monday night you would watch that because you knew it was live. Anything could happen. You'd have SmackDown taped, so if you didn't even want to watch it, you'd tune in and maybe go online and read the results, the spoilers, and then if you were interested, you would wait till after it was aired and look at the videos online. So I think it hurt them when they were on Friday nights too, because not many people were at home on Friday night.
People go out.
Yeah.
I think it's important that now we get 2 distinct rosters. So, hey, if you want to see AJ Styles or if you want to see Seth Rollins on a certain show, you're going to have to watch that show to see them.
Which is great because there's going to be a lot more fresh storylines.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot more talent available to basically make a name for themselves and show management that they are the guys, so to speak.
I only ask of one thing.
What's that?
I don't care if you even have to make 2 tag team titles. Do not split the tag teams up.
No, if you were going to have 2 tag team titles, which they've been talking about having.
I'm okay with that, as long as you don't split the tag teams up.
Plus, now they're going to have 2 separate pay-per-views, which is great because
2 a month, right?
Because what happened with the original draft, they started it okay, and then it kind of just went out the window. It was like, oh well, Randy Orton's showing up to Monday Night Raw, but he's a SmackDown superstar. Why is he here? And then this guy, he's a SmackDown superstar. He just won the title, and they're going to bring it to SmackDown with them, or vice versa, bring it to Raw. You can't have it crossing over.
Now, does that raise the price on the WWE Network now that we're getting all these pay-per-views?
See, I don't think so, because...
Or, also, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, or does it make people buy the WWE Network more because now that there's 2 pay-per-views, that's $60 a pop, that's $120 a month.
Mm-hmm. See, I think it makes people buy it more, the WWE Network. I don't think they're going to raise the price. There was talks and rumors about possibly if Raw and SmackDown were to be aired live on the network, that they would raise the price to like $13 to $15 a month. So if they don't do that and they keep it on the USA Network, I don't think they'll be raising the price anytime soon.
Well, yeah, if they take Raw and SmackDown, if they were ever to take it off of TV and put it on the network, I would still pay the $15 to.
But their $9.99 is like their catchphrase, so I don't think they're going to be upping it anytime soon because they always are pushing it like, oh, only for $9.99 you can get the network, and the first month is free. Like, that's a cheap plug for them right there.
It is. But something that you mentioned earlier was the fact that Vince McMahon has been talking to a couple of older stars, namely Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, the Jeff Hardys of the world, your favorite, Goldberg maybe, and trying to bring them back for the draft. And it would make perfect sense for them to come back because now, if you think about it, Raw and SmackDown kind of turns into TNA. Not in the fact of how they do their work, because TNA is awful, but the fact that they only have to wrestle once a week. They don't have to be on both shows.
True.
They'll only have to show up for one show a week, or if they do their house shows, they only have to show up for that certain house show. They don't have to do this every day. That's the benefit of doing the draft and doing the brand split, because I think after seeing all the injuries that took place this year, that the WWE is going to start to lighten the load. You see them adding more stars and more names, and now splitting the roster allows people to have less injuries because they're going to be working a whole lot less now.
See, if I were to bring back some of these former stars, though, I wouldn't be pushing them to the main event status. Like, if you were going to bring back the Hardys, I would bring them back as a tag team. I wouldn't bring just Jeff Hardy and have him do his weird gimmick that he had before with the creatures and all that. I mean, yes, that's a TNA probably right, but I still want to do that. I would have, if you're bringing back Jeff Hardy, you bring them as a package deal as the Hardys to bring just the same thing that they did with the Dudley Boys. They had Bubba Ray was a surprise guest for the Royal Rumble, then he vanished, and then Devon came back with him, and they re-debuted as the Dudley Boys, which is great, I think, because especially for the older fans, they grew up with the Dudley Boys, ECW days, late Attitude days when they were in the WWE in the early 2000s. So that was how you remember them. But I think as like Goldberg, I would bring him back and use him sparingly. I wouldn't use him as the main event like Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. I wouldn't want to watch that match for a minute.
None of these guys deserve to get main event status.
No, but but if you're trying to push your product and these guys are a household name, unfortunately, you're going to move them in main event status. But I hope they keep their promise, what they say with this new era, and bring up a lot more NXT guys and gals, and maybe sparingly bring in maybe a Kurt Angle, have him wrestle a few more matches, and maybe have him turn manager or enforcer or GM or something like that.
It's not like half of these guys still can't go. They're not trying to bring in Hulk Hogan or like a Jimmy Superfly Snuka or have Jerry the King Lawler fight a match against one of these big guys. This is guys that are still can wrestle. Maybe limited roles, but they can still go. You're telling me you wouldn't want to see a Roman Reigns versus, I don't know, Kurt Angle or Goldberg or something?
No,
Spear versus
especially
Spear?
not Goldberg, because you have two guys who are very limited in the ring, and that match would be a disaster if you had Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. It would be a spear competition, so to speak.
As disappointing as it was to watch Roman Reigns Triple H?
Probably worse.
There's only one of those guys that I want to see come back.
What's that?
Kurt Angle.
And I would agree with you. I
That's
feel he still has a little bit in the tank, but I wouldn't make him maybe I would give him one more run at a title, maybe have him finish it off, and then do like a retirement title tour, I guess you could say, and then have him take a back seat and have him as possibly a manager or
wow,
the GM.
Look at you booking Kurt Angle's career.
I'm just giving you ideas. That's how I would do it, personally.
I think you need to go on Facebook. I just liked his official page the other day, Kurt Angle. So I think you should tell him about this idea, and then I'd love to see him put you in the ankle lock for a few minutes.
And you know what? I'd figure out a way to get out, and you just steal chair. No, that's not PG anymore. So, hey, but they have used steel chairs for a bit now with Roman Reigns. He's used it in AJ Styles. So
we talked about getting a 2 tag team champions. Does that mean that we get to see the return of the Divas title?
See, I wouldn't bring back the Divas title. I would bring back the old school women's title.
Why can't you bring back the women's title, but just have it now have a blue emblem in the middle for SmackDown?
You could do that as well.
Thank you.
So, does that mean that the 2 titles would they bring back the old school heavyweight title, the WCW, the big title, or would they just
I don't ever want to see that title again.
Or will they do the same thing as you said?
I don't want to see any of these old titles.
Bring back the other one, but have blue in it.
As much as I love all those old belts, I don't want to ever see those belts again because this is supposed to be the new era. You're supposed to have change.
There's one title I would like to see come back, though, and make a small little run.
And that is?
The European title.
That's different. And they can fix that title. They could remake that title. It doesn't have to be... It could look like the U.S. title, but with a whole bunch of different flags on it. I would love to see that title. Can you give me that title? Can you give me the television title?
Let me make a phone call. And
what
I'll
about the
get back to you.
Cruiserweight Championship?
Well, they're having the Cruiserweight Classic, so does that a hint that down the road they're bringing that title back? And if so, will there be 2 titles with the Cruiserweight division? Will we have 2 Cruiserweight divisions on Raw and on SmackDown? Or will they have a Cruiserweight title exclusively for the NXT brand? Because they have their own identity. Why not merge that in there and have just the Cruiserweight title in NXT?
The thing is, NXT is only 1 hour.
Yeah.
So I think they're okay with the titles that they do have.
Well, what do they have? They only have 3 titles, correct?
For 1 hour, I think you're fine with just those 3 titles.
Yeah. Unless
they move to 2 hours because they're their own brand now.
I don't know if they'll do that, though. I feel.
I think it's a little much. I think what makes NXT great is they get right into